The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. I know that this was a reschedule, and again, just thank you so much for your patience and diligence in getting on today. And just want to kick us off. I know we've had a number of emails come through, and hopefully you're on now, which is great. If for any reason you cannot see the screen, you can't hear us, thank you. I think you should be able to see Arlene and see her screen right now. And if you can't see, you can't hear, anything happens, the question feature or the chat feature is going to be the best way to do that. Oh, hold on a second. I'm going to share my webcam. I can't do two things at once. I can't talk to you and, and click webcam. If you are having any issues, please use that question feature, and that will help us, and then I'll be able to kind of help navigate you through some of that. Just a really quick tip. If for some reason you can hear us right now and you can't see the screen, if you look towards the bottom of your computer screen, there should be, like docked icons. If you see the blue GoToWebinar, it almost looks like a little flower. If you see that icon and you click on it, that will, a lot of times, the screen will then reappear. For whatever reason, sometimes it docks itself there, and so you can find it that way. So we're just going to do a quick test before we jump in and get started. On your GoToWebinar menu, there's a hand raising feature. It has like a hand and then a little arrow pointing up. If you can see us, if you can see the screen, it says remote work best practices. If you can see all of that and you can hear me, look, some of you already know the drill. You're like, you've got if you could raise your hand, that would be awesome. And then we'll know that you can see us, you can hear us, we're ready to go. Thank you so much. It's so awesome seeing all those hands going up. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to put those down. And so thank you. You have come into the webinar muted. So what that also looks like is that when you have questions or maybe just things that you want us to expand upon or talk about, if you could just use the question feature, I'll pay close attention to that. And then Arlene, I know we've already talked about kind of setting breaks in between our time together to cover questions or any comments that you may have. So we're going to use the question feature for that. And it looks like everyone is good to go. And again, if you have questions or comments, I'll be handling that. So just make sure that you put those in there. And I think we're ready to go.
Yay! So you
Finally.
still hear me? Okay, great. Well, first off, really, just thank you so much for everyone and their continued patience going through this process just a couple hours ago. You guys are the first session that we're having with our large GoToWebinar accounts that can have up to 1,000 participants now. Unfortunately, though we looked at that last week, it didn't happen. And so I apologize for that, but Amy was quick and with Jen and got it taken care of really, really quickly. So thank you for that. So just, real quick, it's really nice for me, right? I've been with EDSI now for 23 years. And when I started, there were 50 people in the company, and now we have over 800. And so I was reflecting a little bit a couple of hours ago as all of you are registering and online and so forth, and just excited to have a chat with you. And when I wasn't able to see you, I was like, gosh, I just missed that one-on-one, some faces I saw, briefly on Teams and so forth. And I was just reflecting through this coronavirus and everything else that's going on, and not being able to get on the last meeting and so forth, just reflecting on how in times when they are tough, right, we kind of just band together and come together and so forth. And that's really been neat to see. People are so graceful and forgiving and understanding and wanting to work. through this stuff, and it really touches my heart because I don't always get a chance to interact with all of you like I did 23 years ago when there were only 50 people and I knew everybody. So that was just really neat. It was a great time of reflection. I went outside for a walk, went with my daughter for a little bit, and it was just great to talk about those things. Everything, depending on how you frame it, right, is always a learning opportunity. So I just encourage all of you too, as we're going through that, just to consider those things as well. It was great for me to be able to do that. Is anyone getting feedback? Is it okay? Does it sound okay?
Getting feedback.
Yeah, I feel like I hear it as well.
I can try muting myself.
Okay, we'll see. So second to that, I also just wanted to say thank you so much for everything that everybody is doing to rally around our business, our operations, and our participants. It's very, again, dear to my heart to know that though we're going through something as nations and throughout the world, that we at EDSI care about our participants who are coming through our programs and what this means to them, and that we're working together the best way that we can virtually to still support them. So, I absolutely wanted to just say thank you for that. And I know that there are things going through this that are challenging, right? We each have similar journeys and very unique journeys at the same time as we're trying to navigate all of these changes. So thank you so much for the service that you're doing, right now to, really serve our participants still. I know for me personally and just EDSI as a whole, it's really special to us. So thank you for that. So we'll go ahead and get started. Talking about remote work, and as we were thinking through some of this and what that meant for EDSI, we have a couple handfuls of employees who do work remotely. So we kind of came together and came up with, what are some best practices? This is definitely very unique to have everybody working this way. So we came up with a variety of things. Each of us, in different ways, we utilize some resources as well, which we'll post some additional resources to EDSIU after this if you're interested in looking. But we wanted to be able to just share with you at a very high level just some things that we've thought through. And we also know, because I know that this is true for my environment, I can't check all the boxes to some of these things that we're going to go through. This would be like in an ideal world if you can, to set yourself up this way, but it's not a must. You kind of look at your environment and do the best that you can given the situation that each of us are in. So some of the things for today that we're going to look at is just how to set your day up for success, being able to maintain collaboration with your teams. I do know, and just speaking AI lingo here as a highest B, it's really important to want to feel like you can maintain some level of collaboration and talk through things more. But that's not to say that people who are low Bs don't want that as well, that sense of community and wanting to connect with others. So how can we do that, and what does that look like? Providing some tips for how to work remote with children. That's not typical. Any of us that work at EDSI, it's a requirement to have care for your children during those remote times. So we came up with some strategies and some things that we've thought of when we were in times when we were doing things or doing email at other times of day, and what we do with our children. Again, looking at resources for you as well to help with that. And then really incorporating self-care into your day. It's so, so important. And I'm excited that Laura Zales, our program manager from Delaware County, at the end of this session is going to do some meditation for us at the end of this, just to, as a way to incorporate how important it really is for our daily practice. So we'll talk about your environment, living our values virtually. It can still be done. It just is a little bit more of an intentional effort. Remote work with children, self-care, and then we'll summarize at the end some of the things we talked about. 1 second, I'm sorry, my battery is about to die. Let me plug it in here. So first thing is just your environment. And it's funny, as I'm dealing with some of the stuff with my kids and so forth, it was like, well, you can't do school in your pajamas. We want you to get dressed and ready for the day. It seems like an obvious thing. You might be surprised, though, how many times you get those questions or kids ask those questions. So it's just important to feel like you're getting ready for the day like you were if you were going into the office as much as you can. If you have a closed space to the rest of your home, that would be great. This is a box that I can't check here. I don't have a closed space. I don't have a door to where I work, so it's open. So I have some things that happen here, with my kids and so forth that I let them know when I'm on a call and what the requirements are for that, because I can't just close a door and lock it here. As much as you can, establish that place in your home that's organized and recognized by everybody else in your home as your workspace for now. And that could mean that it's your workspace at a desk, in an office, at the end of a kitchen table. Mine today, for part of it, was at a windowsill with a chair and my notepad, because that's where I needed to be as I was organizing myself with my children who are online with their teachers and so forth as well. But the important thing is, to have maybe a box, where you can put your computer or your note, everything that you want for the day in a box and be able to move it away, like if you're going to eat at the table and so forth. Just a way for you to feel like, okay, this is my workspace, this is set up, everything is here, and I can move it easily, just to be able to be mobile in the home, especially with children.
Arlene, may I add something here, please? Thanks. I was just going to interject. An important piece of that too is that at the end of the workday, when you do box it up or leave your space, that then your day is completed, because when we're working from home, our home is our home, and also work becomes our home. So it's important to be able to have that boundary to be able to step away from the office and enjoy your evening with your family.
Yeah, thank you, Heather. Yeah, it's really important, because you do run the risk of that. And even with my kids, my oldest daughter, I find her in her computer on the day with her teachers and then into the evening. And, I just asked her after the last session that didn't go through, that she come with me and go for a walk. And hold on one second. I just want to make sure my computer keeps showing battery low, but it's plugged in. So I think we're good. At a desk or something with your computer at eye level is really important, just to make sure you're not over slouching, just to be cognizant of that through the day. You might have wired or wireless headset if possible. I don't have anything right now. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. These are not necessarily requirements or suggestions. Sometimes my computer is sitting on a shoebox. Sometimes I do have my laptop stand. It just depends. So I think there's a lot of things in our home that we can make do really well if we just if we're cognizant of what's important. The video call lighting, I always like to draw attention to that, because I don't know that we're always cognizant of that, like to position it on your face and not necessarily just behind you. Because oftentimes it casts a shadow, you can't really see the person as well. So as much as you can, if you have that light in front of you, it makes it much easier during those video calls. And then just some of the obvious, all the necessary phone numbers, addresses that you might need, outlets to charge your computer or phone, like I have an outlet here and my charger and so forth. So just making sure you have all of those things, because sometimes in the middle of our day, we might forget our charger, or maybe we're moving around. So it's just important to keep those things in mind. And a really important thing that I've noticed is to charge your computer at the end of the day, especially now. So, sometimes I haven't. I've forgotten to put my charger on my computer. And so then I get up the next morning and my daughter uses this space sometimes for her school. So then I have to take my laptop someplace else, but it's not charged. My charger's up here, and then she's on with her teacher. So it's just a great practice at the end of the day to be charging your computer. Be cognizant of the Wi-Fi, you know, if you're nearby, especially if you're on a video call. You know, if you have a camera, you know, just check your background, or, you know, turn around and check your background just to see what other people are going to see, and make sure that you feel great about that. And it's not that we're looking for clean spaces, it's just for you to feel comfortable with whatever people are going to see in your background. And a really neat feature of Microsoft Teams, if you go to the control panel at the bottom and you click, it's somewhere in the center there, one of those options, you can blur your background. So it's kind of like a green screen, your background, which is nice. You look a little bit like a floating head. It's kind of funny initially, but nobody can see anything that's in your background as well. So that's kind of a neat feature of Microsoft Teams. Any questions or thoughts on any of that, Amy, that you can see before I move on?
I just want to add to not just the organization of the workplace or where you're working, is even when starting the day, I just like a lot of structure in my day. I just kind of plan out my day with what meetings I have and what essential things I do have to get done. I do have a task list that I kind of work through as well between meetings and things that need to get done. So that's a helpful thing for me when I start my day as well.
Thanks, Neha.
Thanks, Sneh. We didn't have any questions about the content. We did have some questions about the presentation and will this be recorded? So the content itself, the presentation, as well as a recording, I think we'll be posting that to the remote work kind of best practices page on EDSIU. Correct, Arlene?
Yep.
Awesome. And then someone just noting that they were on a Zoom call where everyone had those green screen backgrounds and they were putting like beaches and mountains, and it was really fun. So maybe we'll have to try that.
That's a great idea. It reminds me, I don't know if any of you guys saw that, it was like a meme that came through, and it was, I sent it to my kids, and it was like, yeah, we're going traveling, you know, we're going on vacation this weekend, and it was an outline of like your house, of the living room, the bedroom, the basement, and so I thought it was just kind of funny. My kids would probably kill me if I tried to decorate those rooms for something fun, and it really wasn't, but it made me chuckle. Thanks, Amy. So let's talk a little bit about remote with children. First, I have to play this. Hopefully it works. Yes. So I'm sure some of you have seen this. This is one of my very favorite videos. And some of the expressions on his face and everything else that's going on in the background, I've had happen to me. I've felt that way. So let me go ahead and play it for you.
Scandals happen all the time. The question is, how do democracies respond to those scandals?
And what will it mean for the wider region? I think one of your children has just walked in. I mean, shifting sands in the region. Do you think relations with the North may change?
I would be surprised if they do. Pardon me. My apologies.
For the region.
My apologies. North Korea, South Korea's policy choices on North Korea have been severely limited in the last 6 months to a year.
So I saw that a long time ago, and I just chuckled so much. I can definitely appreciate that. And just the look on his face, and he closes his eyes, and you can see his eyes looking to like the corner of his screen as he sees his sweet daughter kind of just dancing in there, and she's so proud and so forth. So I just love how he tries to remain, you know, composed as his wife is flying in, you know, in the background and so forth, trying to get his young children back out. So all of that to say, we understand like situations are not going to be ideal, right, in the homes. These are some suggestions to try to help set yourself up for success as much as possible, because we are trying to serve our participants. You know, we do have customers and so forth that are out there, and we realize that there's some challenging things that we're dealing with at the same time. And I know Kevin just sent out, you know, his bloopers recently, and I just thought this would be humorous that we could all appreciate as well. So with that, as much as possible, you know, if you can define your schedule, Neha alluded to that, you know, a little bit, like just what must get done today and for the week. I know that since the kids started school, we decided ahead of time who will sit where and during what times. What does that look like? You know, the space that I have for my office is shared. My daughter's in it for a period of time, and then I come in it to work. And it's helped a lot just to know where everybody is going to be. As much as possible, if you can break up your day into manageable chunks, like 45 to 60 minutes, rather than, you know, starting your day and just, you know, going until noon and not taking a break, not standing up. It's really, really important that you schedule some breaks, get some fresh air outside. And we'll talk a little bit later about how to connect, you know, on your phone with Teams and things like that. It will be really important for you to feel that you're not as isolated as it might feel in the moment. And it's really important to make sure that you're talking with your manager about performance and just expectations. So if you do have some things with your schedule, just share that with your supervisor, have those discussions. What are the expectations? What are the, you know, the priorities, the things that we're trying to get done each day, each week, to make sure that you feel really great about what that is. You know, both ways, I think, is really important. I know I've had a lot of discussions with Neha too. You know, just it's different when you're not there together. You know, am I doing the things that are expected of me? Am I not? Can I have feedback? Feedback is really, really important. And I would say to leaders out there, like, make sure that you're doing that in a way that feels great. The other thing, you know, as much as possible for check-ins, if you used to have daily check-ins, team check-ins, office check-ins, try to schedule those if possible at the same time, you know, same day and time whenever possible. So I know we used to have like Monday morning staff meetings or once a month meetings. If you can keep those, it's great. If not, come up with your team about another time that really works and works well, so that you can plan on it. I think too, with kids, depending on the ages of kids and everything else, how can you shift maybe a bit the beginning or end of your day to accommodate a business need, a team need, children needs, you know, whatever that looks like. Again, when you're looking at your schedule at the beginning of the week, what is most important? What needs to get done? I know I talk with my husband quite a bit to say, because he still has to go into the office, so it's really just me with the 3 kids and trying to orchestrate that. And so, you know, I let him know it would be great on Tuesday and Wednesday if you could be home, if you can work remotely, that would be great, and then I'll be on the other day. So just trying to figure those things out, if that is an option. Taking shifts with a partner when possible can help in trying to look at those, you know, beginning and end times, and maybe, you know, starting earlier in the day or working later into the evening, talking with some team members to say, you know, I can meet about that, but this would be a great time. Does this work for you? It's not that the behavior has to be different. You just have to be more intentional about what that looks like. Heather, did you want to take it from here?
Thank you. Thanks, Arlene. So our situation here is we have a 2-year-old and 7-month-old triplets. And as Arlene mentioned, right now I do have full-time nanny care. It's a little bit different the last couple of weeks because one of our nannies fell sick. So we're juggling between my husband's schedule and my schedule, just what that looks like. So I'm feeling it a little bit more than normal. So just some things that have worked for me, and I welcome Arlene and Neha too, as you've had young ones not too long ago. If you can, you know, take one of the webinars like this, if you're able to wear your baby, or maybe set your baby up in the exerciser or jumper, pack and play, high chair with those activities that kind of suction cup on top, that they may be entertained for a short period of time, or maybe you're able to adjust feeding time while you're feeding a baby and also participating in a webinar, or maybe it's someone on your team who knows that you have someone home with you, and to say, hey, you may hear Leila in the background, just wanted to let you know I'm great to talk. We're all set up over here, yet you may hear a little voice. And I think many of us are in that situation. And as Arlene shared earlier, you know, just giving each other grace and the benefit of the doubt as we're all on the same yet unique journey. And also we're cognizant that every child is different. Even if we have a couple kids who are the same age, their energies could be different. So while one may be fine to watch a little screen show, the other one may be bouncing around. So we are cognizant of every child is different and has different energies, and you know best. And as Arlene shared, you know, we understand the flexibility needed, especially now. So if you're able to get up in the morning and get up and get yourself ready before getting the children ready, or maybe you're able to get up and get ready and work for an hour before the household gets up and you're starting to feed your babies. Also utilizing nap times. Right now, everybody should be sleeping, they're not yet. Utilize nap times when you can. If you know that your children are pretty structured in their nap from 1 to 3, maybe those are the times that you schedule your meetings, or if you're helping with interviews or you're facilitating a meeting, whatever that could be, those times of focused attention, to try to schedule those during nap time or early in the morning before everybody's up. And then, as we just talked about, setting up play next to our workstation. So we may have little coworkers who are next to us, maybe we're in the kitchen, maybe we do have a desk set up. So just setting them up as much as we can with different activities to keep them engaged for that 45 to 60 minutes, like we talked about, that chunk of time. Can I do some research? Can I put together a letter, put together a PowerPoint, or put together the calls that I want to make to employers during that time while people are around me? My children are around me. Can I do that? So think of it, things as you're putting your task list together that you can do while you hear your children's voices next to you. And then making sure snacks and drinks are readily available. I saw this on somebody's post that they had a little kind of Tupperware bowl that they filled up the sippy cup and had all the snacks and fruit and everything right in the bowl on the counter for each child. If that works for your family, maybe that's something that you can do, not to ration food yet, just to have it already accessible, and the child knows that they can do that, or you can just pop up and get a snack, or here's the water, you have the milk prepared in the fridge, or maybe you're nursing your child. Whatever you can do to prepare in advance, or even the night before, just to make it a little bit easier on you when those moments come, because hunger comes rapidly usually.
It does.
And sleeping, as we know, just to go back to the last slide, although we may have a nap time, it's unpredictable every day. I mean, we even hired a sleep training consultant, and great help and great success, yet still unpredictable every day. So we understand that too. Maybe today the nap schedule worked and tomorrow it's something different. So thank you for just being flexible. And you're not alone. You're definitely not alone. We're here around you. If you have questions throughout our time together, please don't hesitate to reach out and ask, as well as reach out to any of us individually after the call. We'd be happy to talk through personal situations in the moment of need. I don't know what to do right now. Please feel free to reach out to any of us. We'd be happy to talk through it.
Thanks, Heather. Yes, absolutely. I think these are different times for all of us. Like I said, we're used to having care for our children. That's a requirement usually for remote work, and so this is very different. But we're all in it together, and I think that's the sense of camaraderie that I really enjoy, and that's been really fun to see and to be able to share some of this with you guys, and just to be to kind of dig in together and figure it out. And again, to just, serve our participants well, and to be able to still do that. It's wonderful to see. So then we have, toddler and school age children. And we have some stock photos, and that's a really beautiful environment there, and working diligently on homework. And I just thought I would share with you what actually the table looked like for my son that morning, as we had workspaces set up, but he chose that this would be a great workspace for him in the middle of his Legos with a napkin crumbled up next to it, because he was eating yogurt and so forth at the computer while he was online with his teacher and students. So it was just kind of funny to me, like, we have the best of intentions sometime, and that was his space, or it was close to his space, but it inched a little bit closer to the Legos and playtime. So we have the best of intentions, and we try, hard, and this might be,
We'll give Arlene just a minute. I think there is internet connection issues, because I'm seeing that it says offline. So sometimes that happens. Just 1 second.
Can you guys hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Let me see. Okay. Let me go back. Sorry about that. Again, lost my internet connection there for a second, it looked like. So using consistent language. So my kids kind of just came up with, mom's on a work call. So it's this thing like, oh, are you going on a work call? Mom's on a work call. I also established schedules where the majority of my video calls, almost all day, Monday and Wednesdays, I'm on video. And so they just know, when's your next work call? When's your next? So using that language, it establishes for them, what does that mean when mom or dad is on a work call? And it means to be quiet. It means that I can't be interrupted whenever possible. So the other thing, make signs, maybe that kids understand too, like red, yellow, green. Green, you can come on in. Yellow's like, I'm really trying to get something done, but if it's an emergency. Red is like, please do not come in right now unless it's like a real emergency. One thing that I do quite a bit as well now, like in this last week, is I will be on Wi-Fi with my emails, and I'll download my emails on my computer, and then I might go sit outside with them, around them, and then respond to all my emails. And then when I go back inside, all of my emails will send at the same time. It's just a way that I can download all of them that I have right now, go out, not be near the Wi-Fi, respond, and then come back inside and send them. So it's just another way to be able to work, even though I might not be on Wi-Fi at the moment. If anything important comes up, people text my phone, so I can look at those that way. Child parent workspace for online school and work. So in the picture with my son there at the bottom, I was working right next to him that day. It's just been necessary. I'm doing work and doing emails and leaning over as he's saying, you know, how do I meet with my class, or what do I do here, or how do I go? And that's just kind of what we've been doing this last week. So I set up shop next to him. And then, you know, this is a really unique time, and there's some challenges, but there's some joys that we can find in them too. Again, just how do we frame it? How do we choose to look at it? Go and have recess with them. You know, we are able to, you know, to go outside, at least here, right? We can go outside and throw out football, play soccer for a little bit, you know, take that break with them. Treasure that moment, looking at them like, wow, this is a really interesting time that I'm at, you know, with my kids, that I can do this. Take a picture, snap a picture of you guys, you know, working side by side. I just think there's opportunity in that as well, even though it comes with its challenges at moments. You know, putting a favorite TV show, you know, that's ready to watch for them. I think the screen time is always like, oh, I don't want my kids to be on screens, and I'm really cognizant of that. I'm not, you know, a big fan of having my kids on screens a whole lot, but how do I do that without having so much guilt, right? They're going to have a little bit more screen time right now with a favorite show or something else, you know, that they can do in that time. Maybe those high demand times when I really do need to be on a call, I can't really be interrupted, you know, that I can put a show. Again, so structuring your day around those to say, okay, I'm going to do this now, but I'm going to put the show on during these calls, and that's what the day will look like today. Heather mentioned this earlier too, like just paying attention to the schedule. Avoid having you or your kids just work all day and night. Sometimes it's easier to fall into those patterns, like really try to have a schedule, what that looks like. Celebrate successes with them and learning together. You know, what is that? You know, high five for, you know, what they got with their assignments done. Let them know what you did for the day and what you were able to accomplish. And, you know, a unique opportunity to truly learn and work together with your kids. I don't know how often that, you know, really comes up, but it's kind of neat. Again, if you look at it that way, to embrace it and make the most of it. A boredom box, I saw that, was just funny to me. I always tell my kids if they say they're bored, I have plenty of things for them to do, and it's not always crafts, it's chores and things like that. But, you know, fill it with crafts or anything of interest to your child, and just swap it out daily, just something different for them to like go through on their own with different things that are interesting to them. And then through all of this as well, you know, there's PTO and FMLA. I mean, it might just be realistic that we need to take some time off, you know, during this time for whatever that might be. Thankful for the PTO policy that we have, that we can take that and feel great about it. So, you know, make sure that you're incorporating that into your week as well, if that's necessary to make it work for you for the week.
Arlene, I just wanted to add, back on the school-aged kids, I have soon-to-be 8-year-old twins, and this is very unique for us as well. And every morning they make their own schedule and try to put it down on paper with times on things that need to get done, as well as school, and then some fun time. And then they know when calls are happening, the doors close, and they only come in when there is, you know, absolute emergency. But I've been amazed how they can put together breakfast together, you know, a bowl of cereal or just a bagel for lunch. And so it's been great to give them some freedom to kind of have ownership of their own schedule for the day as well.
Thanks, Neha. Yeah, that's great. Laundry's next for me. Laundry's a big thing for me, the help with laundry. Amy, was there anything else before I move on to the next section?
Yeah, thank you. I've really been enjoying connecting with you through this question feature. I'm sorry, I did look and I realized that I'm like reading it and that you can see that I'm reading. So be aware when your webcam is on, I guess would be another tip. Several people have asked about pets. I don't have pets. I do have school-age children. And so I appreciated hearing, you know, just tips about that, yet I don't have any pets. So several people had said, you know, puppies, and they're not used to them being home, so they're barking and they want attention. So a lot of questions around pets.
Yeah, that's great. I think not to compare, it's not the same, right? But the kids might be screaming and their dogs might be barking, and like there's a lot of things, right, that we have to contend with. I also do not have any pets. I don't know if there's some people that have experienced that this week that have done some unique things like with their pets or gone to a different room or what that's looked like. But if anyone wants to chat any of that, we can definitely add that if they have some unique tips or suggestions. I would just say with that, I know that it's hard, right? Just like in the video with the kids coming in and being distracted and so forth. I imagine that would be the same with pets as well. I think it's just, again, knowing the person that you're on the call with is understanding of what the situation that we're trying to navigate right now. And we're just in like a week of it at this point. And so I think we'll get better and better. And the more that any of you can share best practices, whether it be with kids or pets, and share those things, we're posting it to EDSIU. So it would be great, if you could do that as well. And we could definitely incorporate that into the webinar when we do more of these in the future as well. So thank you for that. And Amy, I just wanted to ask real quick, I'm gonna, get through some of the other slides, and I know Laura is gonna do something at the end. Are we okay on time? I know you have another session that's gonna start after that. I just want to be cognizant of that.
Yeah, we have a 3 o'clock webinar. I think there are a number of people registered for it, so we'll try to, it's okay if we're a minute or two late, but I think we have about 12 minutes.
Okay, all right, thank you. So living our values virtually, I think this is where a lot of the questions have, come up. What does that feel like? I feel isolated. I'm not with people. I'm not used to this. This is very strange for me. So thank God really for video and Microsoft Teams and the many different software applications that we can use to be able to see each other. So I think the important thing with your manager and with your teams is really to communicate expectations, schedules, what are the performance goals, what are we looking to do, so that you, as well as your manager, does feel really great about that each week. I just think that's really important to have those conversations. Be really intentional about communication other than email. So texting, using Microsoft Teams. I really, really encourage you to utilize Microsoft Teams. And we'll talk a little bit more about what we do on the talent team, because half of our team is remote fairly consistently. It's a great resource. If you can download it on your phone, the Microsoft Teams app, so you have it on your computer and your phone. It's really been a great resource for us. Again, I mentioned it earlier, like provide feedback, talk to each other, and try to do that. I know the AllWorks is set up for most of us and in many situations, but if we can do video calls, like just to even call somebody up, you can use your phone, Microsoft Teams, find someone in there and do, instead of just a call, do a video call and just say, hey, I was wondering XYZ, so you're actually seeing somebody rather than just talking to them on the phone or sending an email. Because if you're sitting in front of the computer and just doing emails, it will get really hard and not feel as great for you. So as much as you can, do a video chat with somebody to ask them a question, just ask how they're doing too, right? It's not just about work. Like, what's the water cooler conversation, right? Like, how are you doing? How are your kids? What's going on with you? Things like that are really important as well. And then just sharing tips with each other. What are you doing? What's working for you? What's not? One of the things that we do, and we did a lot more in the past, we're doing it now since everybody is virtual, is what I call an open virtual meeting time through Microsoft Teams. So you can actually, so like tomorrow, I scheduled a Microsoft Teams meeting all day from 8 until 5. And then I also have Microsoft Teams meetings with individual people. So you can actually schedule a Teams meeting, maybe with your immediate team, maybe your entire office, whoever you usually work with on a regular basis, and you schedule that meeting. And you can actually do other individual meetings on top of that. So you can be in one meeting, finish that meeting one-on-one, click off of it, go in and enter the all-day meeting that you scheduled, and just be able to see your team like, hey, you guys, how you doing? Sometimes what we do is keep the all-day meeting, Microsoft Teams meeting open, and like just work on emails, but we can still see each other and talk. That is really great, because you actually feel like, you have people that you're used to working with on your screen, right there with you. So that's worked out really well for us. We do virtual lunches that way, so scheduling Teams meetings during lunch. Like I said, video calls instead of audio. Celebrate successes with your team, with your kids. Focus on gratitude. I think sometimes in these challenging times, it can be just really hard to look at that, because we feel like we can't go anywhere, and we're just home. And but there are silver linings, if we choose to look at it that way. So just look for those opportunities to celebrate with your team, and ask, how can I support you? But I really think if there's one thing from here, schedule those all-day Teams meetings with an office or a team, and pop in and out of it, and do email while you're online, like with your team, and talk. And yeah, it's just really neat because they're there on the screen with you while you're doing your work. Find opportunities to work on items that have been pushed back. We've talked about that quite a bit on the team, things that we've been wanting to do for a while but just haven't been able to get to, and now we find a time to be able to do that. Again, share best practices with each other. Make sure for leaders that information is being shared. It's hard when everyone's working remotely, like, what are we doing? And what does that look like? What's going on? So having those maybe daily check-ins, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, maybe it's weekly, maybe it's every other day, but scheduling something on Microsoft Teams, like, oh, we're just gonna rally for like 10 minutes at this time, come in if you can, here's what's going on, and you feel like that information is being shared. I think that's really important. People who work remotely feel like they don't always know as much what's going on, and it's great to be able to engage them. And then evaluating performance. What's going on? Are we meeting our goals? Are we getting done what we need to serve our customers, and our participants? This is just some things that we do. We take pictures. You could take pictures of your screen as you've got your team online. This is half of our team when we were together taking a picture next to the video screen with the rest of our team who was virtual. So we were celebrating at Christmas with just some things to eat, and take a picture, motivate each other, connect on a personal level, share insights and success stories, have fun together still. I think that's really important, that we feel like we're able to rally together and come together and feel like a team, and we have a support system. It's important to have that element of fun as well. So take some pictures of your screen, and this is what life is like right now. I think is really great. I do want to get to, I think Laura's on the call. Does anyone have any questions before we do that?
Arlene, I'm going to get Laura made as a presenter so that she can share. Okay. Some questions about high school age students, just how could we, help, or how could they help them kind of structure their day with things to do? And then a lot of hilarious stories about pet situations. We are going to create like a news forum where we can post these different things, because I've been hysterical laughing for the past like minutes trying to hide it from you.
No, that'll be great. That's great, because I'd love to see them, because all I'm looking at is my screen and I can't see any of it. So I would appreciate that, and we can share it with everyone. So just a couple of things on self-care is just, like I alluded to earlier, exercise, do yoga, meditate. Please get up and stretch. do some things with your, kids, connect with family and friends. There's WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger has a lot of fun, different things for like faces that you could give to your kids to do, put on hats and be silly. They enjoy that for a long time, like school age children. Use Zoom, get family together on a screen. Like Zoom is really easy. Again, virtual lunches with your family, virtual workouts. So there are a lot of options. You just have to be a little bit more intentional. If anyone has any questions on any of this or how to do it with the teams and what that looks like, please let me know, or anyone on the talent team. We're all really familiar with how that works and how we've been doing that. We'd love to help support you have those connections. And I do want to turn it over to Laura, maybe to do a little bit of time of meditation as we end today. Are you there, Laura?
I am here.
Okay.
Me? Hi,
Yeah.
everyone. Nice to see you all. So I get started right away just because I know we have a short amount of time here. And I don't want anyone to feel super intimidated by meditation. Sometimes it feels really scary for those that have never done it before. So just give yourself this time, if anything, to take the word meditation out of the head and just allow this as just a few moments for you just breathe quietly. So I would like for everybody just to go ahead and close your eyes and come to a space where you feel as if you are elongating your spine. So sit up straight, either in a cross-legged position on the floor if you're there, or come to sit with your feet flat on the floor. So no legs crossed in our seats. And then start to feel your seat upon the earth or the chair, wherever you're at. And then lengthen the spine all the way up the back and then out of the crown of the head, creating this long, lengthy spine. Then once you arrived in this space, begin to just tune into your breath. Begin to tune into the rhythm of your breath. This is allowing it to be exactly as it is in this moment. Feel the natural rise and fall, the belly as you breathe in and breathe out. And just take a quick scan of the body and ask yourself where you can create more ease and less effort. Just really, really focus in and narrowing the mind just to the breath. As you feel your breath move, letting go of all the worries and uncertainty so you can just experience right now in this present moment. Just for the last few breaths, we'll take our attention to something that we're grateful for, especially in this experience that we've been going through. We've each felt something that we're really, really thankful for. So bring your attention to that right now. Allow your breath, your mind to only focus on that object. What am I grateful for? It's so easy to be swept away by the uncertainty of everything that we're faced with today. We can quickly lose focus on our present moment. It's important to remember that life is happening in each and every moment that we have. How can we consciously choose to stay present with love, passion, and adaptability for ourselves and for others? The final 3 breaths here, bringing yourself back to what you are grateful for. Maybe bring one hand over the heart and the other hand over top. And take a deep breath in, full breath through the nose. Sip in what you're grateful for, and then deep breath out. One more time as a community, as a family here at EDSI, deep breath in through the nose. What are you grateful for? And exhale, breathe it out. And when you're ready in your time, just begin to blink open your eyes. Bring your awareness back to the room that you're in. And I thank you all for allowing me to serve you and give you an opportunity to be with your breath today. If you have any questions about meditation, please let me know. I'm willing to set up sessions with you or your team, always one-on-one, anything that you need, as long as I can fit it into my schedule. I would love to be able to help you guys. So thank you.
Thanks so much, Laura. Really, really appreciate that. Love to be able to finish our session that way today, just to be peaceful and mindful. So I know there was a lot of information in here today. Please reach out to any of us if you have any questions about how to navigate any of this. We are happy to help you more individually or with your team to be able to set these things up. So again, thank you so much for serving so well, our team and our participants. It's been great just to have these moments with you today. So thank you very much, everyone, and enjoy a wonderful evening and stay healthy. Thank you.
Bye. Thanks, guys.
Bye.